Domino, and today we are bringing you the top 10 videos, movies, TV shows that you should not watch during quarantine. So, if you didn't know, I have an obsession with zombie movies and zombie shows and zombies. So I tried to avoid as many zombie shows as I could, like The Walking Dead and Z Nation, because those guys are pretty obvious and really prominent. Now, some of the things on the list are kind of popular, while others on the list are kind of not so popular. Or maybe you just wouldn't have thought that that was a bad idea, and I'm coming here to tell you that when you look at it the right way, everything's a bad idea. So before we dive right in, I just want to say that the number one on this list should most definitely be avoided. And it shouldn't just be avoided because of we're in quarantine, but it should be avoided because well, I guess we'll get to that. So let's start with number 10, which is a zombie movie. But I tossed it on the list because, well, I just had to. So number 10 is Cargo. So if you don't know what Cargo is about, it's about Bilbo Baggins hiking through Africa with a baby on his back, and he meets a kid. And this kid and him get in some zombie situations, and there's zombies, and there's this guy with this girl, and just long story short, it's a really good movie. It's just zombies. And it's kind of sad. Through the whole movie, it's a tearjerker, which is weird to say for a zombie movie because normally zombie movies are zombie movies, but this is actually like a drama with feelings involved, and it's probably needs to just wait on that one if you haven't seen it. If you have seen it, you know what I'm talking about. Probably shouldn't be watching no zombies on TV. Number 9 is also a zombie movie because I think we should just get these ones out of the way, but it's Train to Busan. Busan? Bussin'? That movie is another really good zombie movie, but it does have subtitles, and if you've watched some of my other previous stuff where I've talked about how I am dyslexic and don't like to read while I'm watching a movie, this movie is most definitely worth reading while you're trying to watch it. Now, if you didn't know, it's about this guy who gets on this train and there's a group of survivors, and they'll have to survive this experience with these zombies. Now, these zombies aren't Walking Dead zombies. They are definitely World War Z zombies. So they're really fast and eat people. It's awesome. But yet again, it's probably something that you might want to avoid. Number 8 is a TV show called Survivors. And I don't mean like Survivor, like, oh, I'm going to survive this island. I mean the British TV show Survivors, which got canceled after 2 seasons, which was really depressing. Yet again, another really good TV show that has a lot of drama in it, a lot of story, a lot of plot. Oh, it is brilliant, but it's probably something you should avoid. So what it's about, if you don't know, a virus has swept through the area and I think they've killed maybe a third of the population, probably more. I think I have the numbers wrong on that. It's been a long time since I really got to sit down and watch it. It's one of those shows that I've watched a couple times because it's that good, but I've kind of tried to steer away from it being locked in my house for the past couple weeks because it is about a virus that kills a huge portion of the population. The only people that survive are people that are naturally immune to it. Everybody else got wiped out, except for one. Now, I don't want to go into too much detail because after all this is all over, you definitely should find it and watch it because it's super good. But the characters are very no, don't encourage them to watch it. Dizzy, don't encourage them to watch it. Since it's about a virus, probably should avoid that one. Number 7 is Outbreak, and that's a movie that I hadn't actually seen before, so I watched it for you guys to tell you guys not to watch it. It's good, and it's actually kind of fun to see a young, what is his name? Dustin Hoffman, and a young Kevin Spacey, and a young Morgan Freeman. Like, it has Dustin Hoffman, Morgan Freeman, and Kevin Spacey. Could you have a better lineup there? It's awesome, but okay. It's about a virus. Need I say more? It's about a virus that once it takes a host, it takes like 72 hours and they're dead. And they die this horrible death, and you're watching all these people die from this. It will put ideas in your head that you just don't need right now. Number 6 is a bit more on a light note, but you probably should kind of steer clear of this one too, and that is Idiocracy. Now, I know what you're thinking, that's comedy, that's what we should be watching right now, stuff that's funny. Yes, but at the same time, no. Since we're all trapped in our houses right now, the idea of being able to emerge from your home and get out into the world again, you don't need ideas like you're gonna walk out of your house and just see piles of garbage and people trying to water plants with Gatorade. Like, has electrolytes. Probably should avoid idiocracy. You're not going to come out of your home to a whole bunch of stupid people. Yes, life's going to be a little bit different and take a while to get back to normal, but it's not going to be that. Number 5 is Gravity. Now, I put this on the list because the last thing you need to be doing is sitting at home watching Sandra Bullock, who is brilliant, in a very... I didn't like the movie. In a very dumb movie, solo, out in the outer space, all by her lonesome, talking. No. You're alone enough as it is. You don't need to be watching something where they're alone too. Number 4 is Scrubs. Now, yet again, I know what you're thinking. Scrubs is super funny, and that's what we should be, aiming towards right now. Some good, solid entertainment. But on the other side of that, to play devil's advocate, we don't necessarily need to be watching a show about a bunch of doctors and nurses daydreaming and hooting, hollering, carrying on. That is not what they're doing right now. They're doing and trying their damnedest to make sure that we're all safe and that we're all going to be okay at the end of this. They are not daydreaming about balloons. Number 3 is a movie that I just watched last night, so it's not really last night anymore, whatever. That movie was so bad that I'm thinking about making an episode just to complain about that movie. It's the easiest version of CinemaSins that I've ever seen. There's so much dumb in that movie, and that movie is Cabin Fever. So if you've seen it, you already know what I'm talking about. If you haven't seen it, I'll make that episode so I can just get you the gist. A whole bunch of spoilers so you don't have to watch it. But what it's about is these 4 kids, 4? There's 5? Maybe there's 5. Hold on. There's 5. There's 5 kids that all go up into the woods, into this cabin, and they're drinking, partying, carrying on, and the next thing you know, there is this flesh-eating virus thing. It doesn't really tell us what the hell's going on other than it's in water, which that didn't even ruin anything, because from the very beginning they're like showing the water, so you know it's from the water. Whatever. And it's like eating their skin, and their skin's falling up, and like bleh, bleh, bleh. Which that would be fine. Grotesque is okay for scary movies, I get it, but there's so much to unpack there that we'll get into that in a later video. Number 2 is an older movie called The Painted Veil. Now, The Painted Veil, if you haven't seen it, here's a little rough of it. You have Edward Norton, who I think is a brilliant actor, and I can't remember the girl's name. So you have these two, and they get married, and he's a doctor, and so they have some troubles. You don't want to spoil anything, but to give you the plot, I have to give you just a little bit. So they go through some troubles in their marriage. He ends up signing up to go help with the cholera outbreak. And that is the reason why I put it on the list. I just think that watching these people suffering and dying from cholera is probably not your best plan, although the movie itself is very brilliant. It has a beautiful story to it, and Edward Norton is amazing as always. So, and on that note, it definitely is a movie worth watching. It's just not necessarily a movie worth watching right now. And number 1 is Carriers. Now, if you haven't seen Carriers, it is another one of those stupid teen horror movies, but there's a lot more here that we're just going to take a couple minutes and kind of unpack some things, and I'm going to try not to spoil as much as I can for you. This movie came out in 2009, but it has some dangerously similar things to what is going on right now. But before we get into what the similarities are right now, I want to just complain just a little bit without ruining anything. 1, who wastes bullets like that? There is so much bullet wasting happening in this show. Number 2, who slaps the driver? I know it's an apocalypse and there's no other cars around, but you're still on a road where they have to stay on the road. So why were you slapping the driver? I don't care what they're saying. Don't hit them. Number 3, they put... I can't even talk. I'm so frustrated with this one. Number 3, they make rednecks look like these horrible guys. So there's a part in it where you see this guy who's running away from these rednecks, and why? Like, they hunt him down, he gets out of his car, and they shoot him. Like, rednecks are not the kind of people that are just gonna go crazy like that. I don't know why the media has this hard-on for making rednecks look like dumb jerks, but they're not. What the hell? The next complaint is, how did they not see the horses? I mean, they're scoping out this whole golf course. How did they not see the horses? There are horses in a trailer. Horses on trailers make noise. And if the horses in the trailer weren't there when they were scouting out the whole golf course, then how did they not hear the truck pulling the horse trailer? That makes a lot of noise too. Have you not heard a truck? We are in a time where, well, they are in a time where there's no noise, no background noise going on other than what's happening. So how'd you not hear the truck? And lastly, he kills the dog. Those bodies that dog was eating don't look like they were there that freaking long. And I realize dogs are different than cats. Cats will, like, you're dead, they're eating your body if they don't have food. And dogs have a little bit more respect for you. But if they don't have any food, they're going to eat your dead body. Now, that dog is not going to go crazy like it does in the show. That is a domesticated dog that is being forced, he doesn't look at us like, but he's eating his owner. He's not going to all of a sudden see a person back. Now, the similarities between what's going on right now and the show is that those rednecks I told you about, that guy that they killed, he is of Asian descent, and so they hang him up and they write this really racist slur on his chest on a piece of cardboard and put it on his chest, which implies, well, it directly states that they are the ones that brought the virus, or they are the ones that had the virus. Now, that is a weird coincidence to me, although we have had some, the bird flu or whatever, and whatever. The next thing is about how it's spread. There's a part where they're in the car together with somebody that they know is infected. They put her in the back, and then they tape it all off so that they're not sharing air and sharing space. Although the virus itself is quite a bit differently, just because these guys, of course, it's a scary movie, so they have to die like bloody deaths and blood, 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 blood. But at the same time, it has that kind of feel to it, that kind of fear to it, that I feel that is kind of being illuminated by the media right now. At the beginning of the movie, not necessarily, you see it a little bit throughout the movie, they're wearing face masks. Now, I know that that's kind of a weird thing to put out there, but it was a weird experience going grocery shopping the other day and walking around and seeing everybody in these face masks, these just a little face mask. It's a whole new experience that seeing it portrayed on TV as well as then going to the store and seeing it in real life, I think it just makes your mind wander in ways that it shouldn't necessarily be going right now. Well, that's my list. I hope you guys all enjoy watching these movies, because if you're like me, you're gonna watch these movies anyway, and you're watching this list for ideas to watch movies that you shouldn't be watching, because I indeed did watch quite a few of these on the list. That's how I know that they should be on the list, like Carriers and Cabin Fever and Outbreak. And if you're like me, enjoy the list. If you're not, then avoid these ones, but come back and watch some of the other ones, because like I said, they are pretty good movies. They're just not good for right now. Now, I know since I tried to stick to 10, I have left a lot of movies and TV shows off this list that most definitely deserve a spot. So go ahead and put those in the comments down below. If you guys like this video, hit that like button. If you guys like me, hit subscribe. Turn on notifications so you don't miss the next one. And that's just simply hitting the button, the little subscribe button. It will pop up with some options and turn on notifications. And if you just like my dog, you can follow her on Instagram at JustHavingABadDay. And thanks for watching. Bye.
Beware the claw. The claw. It's Bowen's claw.
Don't eat it, gross. So if you don't know You ready to rock? You ready to roll? You ready to rumble? Normally, I would definitely advise watching this movie, even though it is a reader. And what I mean by that is you actually have to read what they're saying because it is, what is it called? It is written out. It is, it's a reader. That's not what I mean.